All right, good evening. I'm Dr. Shuhel. I'll be the program leader for your Masters of Business Administration by Britain University. Today, I'll be briefing about work-based project, expectation, what you should do, what you should not do, and how you can score better, right? So I will cover this, the project briefing, stages in the work-based project you should do, and how to start and what to avoid, proposed contents of the project report, presentation of the report, and I will also show you the assessment criteria. Right, so this work-based project is a capstone for the MBA degree programmer. It is also in line with your specialization. Work-based project related to the strategic aspects of the organizations. It involves the application of related theories, tools, models to the real-life situation in the business environment and their applications in your report. The work-based project is also assist in developing the problem-solving skills. It is noted that some of the university, they call it dissertation. Some of them is calling a project, but in Britain, we call it work-based project, right? Before I move to further, I just wanted to check with you. You have done all the taught modules, right? Sanjula?
Yes, doctor, we have completed all the modules and we have submitted the endpoint assignment too.
All right. So your specialization in which area?
We are doing the general MBA. We are not specializing in any area.
All right. So if it is general, so you can choose you have the broader area. You can choose any area. It's okay. All right. So your scope actually anything related to the business, but those who are looking for the specialization in hospitality management or marketing or finance or talent management, they have to do their project, work-based project in that particular related area. So yours is general, so you can choose any aspects as long as within the scope of business. So student would be required to identify an issue or in a problem in a particular management challenge or issues arising in your own organization of the industry, one of which you are familiar. So you need to identify an issue which you know or you have more information, because you need to elaborate this and come up with solution. That's why you need to be careful before identifying the problem. Students are either required to identify the process, issues, or problem which they must critically analyze and discuss, leading to the conclusion and recommendation for a strategy or strategics and the course of action which backed by clearly reasoned arguments and appropriate application of various appropriate management theories, models, techniques, practices, or tools taught in the program. As I mentioned earlier, you have completed 6 modules and you have gone through a lot of theories related to your course. You know how to do the leading changes, how to do cross-cultural management, right? How to do financial aspects. So you have learned all the theories and you have gone through many models. Now it's time for you to implement in a report and demonstrate your knowledge, skills in the work-based project. So as I mentioned that hospitality marketing, or finance, or blockchain management, talent, these are the specialized area. In your case, Sanjula, it would be the MBA general. So you are looking to the number 1 only, right? So prerequisite, you have mentioned you already done the 6 taught modules and also you have submitted the end for assessment. So we can skip this part. Now, what are the objectives or learning outcomes expected from this work-based project? You need to critically evaluate and make recommendations for organizational development relating to theme or issues impacting participants, organizations. So the project you're going to do, it should relate to any particular organization or company you are working with. You need to identify the problem, Critically evaluate, follow the stages in research, which I will show you later on. Then you need to come up, or you need to make appropriate recommendations based on your knowledge and experiences you have so far. Second learning outcome, which is expected from this module, is design, develop, and apply, evaluate particularly sound business assessment or evaluation and subsequent solution to resolve a real company business and management challenges, right? Thirdly, critically evaluate the theme or issue impacting on the business organization or business unit, drawing upon and developing concepts or models. You can create a business model for them, and theories related to demonstrate innovative thinking and informed, justifiable, and feasible solutions. So you are making recommendations, you are finding solutions which might not be applicable, or which might be look very impossible. So no, you need to find which is feasible and applicable in the realistic scenario, right? Finally, you need to present findings through a written presentation appropriate to the management audiences. Yeah. So these are the learning outcomes you're going to achieve in this module. This is the key area, word count. The work-based project should provide an opportunity for you to apply the knowledge and understanding you have developed through the talk modules, which we have studied already. The project should be a direct benefit to your workplace or your continuing proposal or professional development, or possibly both, right? This you need to emphasize. You need to be careful choosing the project, right? It can be your own organization if you're working. If not, any organization you are very familiar with. The word count will be between 7,000 to 8,000 words in between. So it can be 7,500, 7,800. Do not try to cross 8,000, or do not write less than 7,000. In both cases, you will be penalized, right? And your timeline. Students are expected to complete this work-based project between 3 to 4 months time, right? This is the timeline given, and if you notice in your portal, you're supposed to write a proposal by this month. Need to write and submit to your LMS, Learning Management System portal, by 30th of November, if I'm not mistaken. Now, what are the stages in the work-based project? This is very important. You need to understand, because most of the students, they do not focus the requirements and end up with a different format or different things. Therefore, they are losing the marks, losing the good grades. The work-based project has 3 stages and should be completed and arranged as follows. So initially will be the preliminaries, the body of work, and the end material. So if I further elaborate this, you also need to include a front cover sheet, which is already in your student portal. I will show you later. Declarations that this piece of work or project is not plagiarized, is not copied and pasted from some other places. It also need to include executive summary, whereby you will summarize the whole project. After going through the executive summary, your audience should be able to apprehend or understand that what is this project all about, and possibly the outcomes. Acknowledgement. In this project, you will be assigned to a supervisor, so you'll be working under the guidance of a supervisor. You also need to liaise with your organizations, when it company. So you need to acknowledge them in this section. This is completely your own, how you write. There is no specific guidelines for this. And a table of contents. Do not forget the table of contents. This is important. All right. So the body, how you should write it. You see there is a 5 section. Number 1 is introduction and setting the scene of a context. So in this section, you will be writing the background of the issues, and you will introduce the whole scenario, the problem, and in part context, and you are writing all these. Then you will be proceeding to problem statement and identifications of the problem. So basically, in problem statement, you will be writing the main problem and the gap. It can be the knowledge gap, it can be the literature gap, it can be the statistical gap. So all these things you will be including in your problem statement. Then you'll write about the management techniques, tools, and analysis. After that, you will proceed to the presentation of the findings. And finally, you will write a conclusion, or we will say the presentation of solutions and recommendations and how to implement the recommendations. So these are the 5 sections basically you need to cover while you are doing the work-based project. Now, after this, of course, you need to add the references, the bibliography, and appendixes if necessary. Now, the components of the work-based project, the title. In your proposal, you need to mention about the title. The title should be succinct yet clearly specify the content of the report. Sometimes students are writing too long title, which actually it doesn't give any specific information about the topics you're writing. So it should be in a line or 2 line, that is 10 to 15 words or 20 words at the best. They should be descriptive and explicit rather than a poetic or implicit. It should be agreed and finalized as a part of the final draft. It may be different from the original proposed title. So once you write a title in your proposal, then you'll be submitting the proposal. After that, when your supervisor is assigned, he or she may be guiding you again to do a minor changes in the title. That is fine, right? In the acknowledgement section, I already mentioned that student may wish to thank those people who have been particularly helpful in their preparation of the project. Some way your organization or the people from HR or your supervisor will be involved. So you may wish to thank them in this acknowledgement section. In the executive summary, the purpose of this is to summarize the entire project, including description of the problem, the students' findings, and conclusion. But you need to be, within a single page, you need to write this executive summary. You should not go too long. And declaration, the word count, a declaration page signed by the student must be included. This page is stated in your LMS. So there's a standard format of this. And do not forget to sign the declaration. If you do not sign, that means you didn't declare. You didn't declare. Right. Now, what are the things you should include in introduction? So this is an idea we are sharing with you and giving guidelines for you so that you can go through properly. So the purpose of this section is to contextualize the study. As I mentioned, you need to state the background. This means the significance or importance of the subject is to set out here. If there is no apparent importance of the study to any external reader, the topic may not be appropriate, right? If you do not find any issues, any problems which is hindering or creating problem to the organization, and by solving this problem, the organization will be benefited. In that case, if there is no such importance, the project has no value actually. So personal interest may inspire the selection of the research project topic, but ultimately its importance to others should be specified, such as the organization. Yeah. So this can be done by positioning the work-based project in relation to critical management issues or challenges in which requires immediate or quick attention, as the issues either pose threats to the organization's survival or competitive edge or new opportunities which significantly improve the organization's profitability or performance, right? So the keyword, you need to address an issue which will increase organization's profitability or performance. So in both cases, the organization will be benefited. Yeah. The body, the 5 sections I mentioned earlier, there will be the project. Any case should progress logically, starting with the rationale of the subject, project, a critical review of existing problems, practices which require review and improvements, the choice of applying relevant and appropriate management techniques or tools to analyze the finding, solution, and presentation. Your findings and solution, the implementation of the problem proposed in the solution. In your chapter 5 or section 5, you need to propose the solutions or recommendations and how to implement that. Yeah. Right. Now, you need to bear in mind that work-based project is a formal writing, right? And the level of writing must be appropriate to the level of master's degree. So the sentence, the construction of sentence, grammar, spelling, need to be careful. Especially accurate attention should be paid to the correct spelling, grammar, punctuation, sentence structure, or clarity of the style, right? As I mentioned, it should be master's standard. Also, it is the student responsibility to edit the text typing errors, typo errors, need to be particularly careful. Uncover all spelling errors. Note that a spelling check program doesn't cover the spelling errors. Sometimes people are using software thinking that it will detect all kinds of spelling errors and all. It is not really that accurate. In some cases, you need to revise it once, twice, third, or even fourth times if it is necessary. Yeah? Normally, there should be no first-person references. So first person, normally people are using informal writing. So as I mentioned, this is a formal writing. There shouldn't be any uses of first person. In self-references is required. References may be made to the author or the study, right? So the exception to this is to conclusion section where personal comments may be appropriate. Page layout. These informations are also detailed in your work-based project learning guide. It is mentioned there, but for your benefit, I'm repeating it here again so that you can be careful. Pages should be numbered in a sequence at the top right and corner, starting with the including title page. Margin and headings of the specifications are 38 mm left margin, 31 mm the 11 by 4 inch on the other three sides. The page number should be above on the top margin line. The right margin should be just unjustified, left correct. Since the spacing between the words to make the right margin even inhibits reality greatly and adding to a title aesthetically. Headers and footers are to be used with the discretion if it is necessary. Please do not include your name in any header or footer. Your name, ID, and all with the title page or the first page, there is a format mentioned in your student portal. Table charts and should be numbered as sequence by section or chapter. E.g., for example, table, if it is first table, it will write 1.1 or in chapter 3, 3.1, right? For figure also should be properly referenced and accompanied by a descriptive title, completely explain the contents of the figure. It is not accepted to insert photocopies of table into the body of the research project. So table of content, you need to create it in the word processed into the project. In a broader term, this principle also applies to a diagram. No photocopies from the book, etc. If any diagram you want to insert, you need to put the soft copy in the Word file. There will, of course, be occasions whereby photocopy of the table diagram is specially required in order to illustrate points peculiar to or to the original. Use such a photocopies must be cleared with the supervisor. So if any such thing, in any cases, you really feel that you need to add any photocopies, so you discuss with your supervisor and you can add in the appendix. It is recognized that there will be circumstances where photocopies are necessary. Another example might be a sample of completed questions, right? All this you can include in your appendix at the end of your project. Now, the work-based project must be processed. A final copy must be uploaded for marking on the designated online portal. This is your student portal. Spacing may either be set at a double or one or single or 1.5 spacing, depending on the machine used. So there is no specific requirement. You can use double spacing or single spacing or 1.5. So I will advise you to use 1.5 spacing. Spacing greater than double spacing is not acceptable. Direct quotation may be presented starting a new line in a single spacing intended both left and right. The body of the project should be in front of the font of 12, right? So font size would be 12 and Arial is the standard font face. So you can choose Arial font and the size would be 12. Plagiarism and citation, this is important. Sometimes if the student do not reference properly, they forget to what we call the in-text referencing. The original work also may be plagiarized. Therefore, the intellectual work of the others is being summarized and used in the work-based project must be attributed to the resource. That means you need to reference properly. You need to give credit to the original authors, even if you summarized or paraphrased. It is assumed that in all ideas, opinions, conclusion, or specific wordings, quotations, or conceptual structure and data, whether reproduced exactly or in paraphrase or in another reference to the other sources, is the work of a student. You need to do a referencing. You need to mention the author name or the sources properly. If this is not the case, an act of plagiarism may be occurred, as I mentioned earlier, which is cause for disciplinary action at the program or university level, right? So in any situation of plagiarized work, it will lead to your work in a disciplinary action. So you need to be very, very careful. Please pay attention to a particular or originality of the proper acknowledgement of your resources. It is important that the work you submit, it is original as far as the master's project constraints allow. Gives proper acknowledgement to any work by the others which is used in completing some other project. Originality means the project subject is presented in a way which differ from others, right? There may be some similarities. For example, if you want to increase the performance in a particular organization, so you select a topic. So you will find many people did research or past research on the performance enhancement, but your specific company, maybe someone never did. So in some way, it will be very original or original work or real piece of work. You also should not include any published works. So you can do a referencing from the other published works, but it cannot be the same one. And study guides, dissertation or research project of the other student in the past. So you cannot copy the other past research or project exactly. That will definitely a plagiarized work and it will be rejected. This does not preclude the use of the same materials wider reading. As I mentioned, you can do a referencing. You can give support from the other journals or other project published, but with a proper citation. In fact, credit is specially given for the references in the assessment of scheme. It doesn't mean, however, the sources of any such material must be identified. Yeah. Unacknowledged use of the work of others is plagiarism. Is regarded as the dishonest or dishonesty of in the academic work, and it will be dealt with that basis as per the university's regulations. Format in the text, you must use the Harvard referencing for your work-based project. So for bibliography or academic references, there are many style available in the market. Some people are using APA, some people are using Chicago, some people are using Harvard. As far as Britain University is concerned, we require you to follow the Harvard University. All right, Harvard referencing style to be followed. So In Harvard referencing, I'm sure that you have followed also in other 6 modules, and you mentioned in your endpoint assessment as well. The system used the name and year in the text easy according to the, the author's name, and then followed by the publishing year, and then the books or the journals names. 3 parts of the recent study. You see, right, this is an example. Statement in 2003 states that this is an in-text referencing example. If there is any direct course, it should be have the author, year, page of the number, etc. This should be done as the statement 2003. That means in the line of 6, he mentioned if any code process over the pages, you should write like this, 6 to 7, the page number as well. The purpose of this page reference is also enable to reader to find easily sources materials, right? If you give the page number of a particular book or journal, that your reader can easily refer to that material or sources. Particular points should also have page references whereby general theme from a complete article do not require to precise page number exactly. Now, this is how you should look like your bibliography or end references. You see the author surname, then if it is 2 author, then you need to put and. If it is 3 author, you need to write the 3 authors name completely or full name. Then the publication year, then the name of a book or journal or magazine. If it is journal, the name of the journal, then you need to write the volume or the page number, right? This is just an example for it. Now, if I summarize all these things I have step for you just now, that how you should write. So you should select a suitable project first, then you will write your proposal. You will upload your work-based proposal for the approval. Once your proposal is accepted or approved, then there will be a supervisor appointed for you. If not, you need to resubmit your proposal. Then submit your proposal for grading, then moderation of the exam board and the endorsement. So these are the 6 stages, as I mentioned. So you are in the stage number 1 now. By 30th of November, you need to complete your proposal and upload. So that would be your stage 3 at 2, and stage 3, there will be an announcement from the university side that your project is approved or rejected. If it is not approved, you need to resubmit. If it is approved, you will work with your supervisor. Then it will take 3 to 4 months to complete and submit for your final marking. So I think the process is clear to you. Now, how to start? So how to start your proposal until your final submission. Before that, Sanjula, do you have any questions so far? Do you understand so far?
So far it's clear, doctor, but I have some issues.
Yeah, please.
We were supposed to use Harvard referencing, right?
Yes.
But in the earlier you mentioned to use the Arial, but the Harvard referencing we were supposed to use Newton, a different font.
I didn't get you, Sanjula. If you repeat your question.
When we are using Harvard referencing, we were supposed to use New Time Roms, the font.
Okay. But they mentioned the Arial, right?
Yeah. What's the correct?
All right. Now, in your project, Arial font size is recommended. You can also use New Times Roman. There is no issues on that.
Okay, thank you.
Font is size should be 12. You are using Arial font or Times New Roman, your size should be 12. then you can choose double spacing or single spacing or 1.5, but we recommend you to follow 1.5. Huh? So I hope this is clear.
Yes, thank you.
All right. So now let's see how to start and how to get into this. Of course, you will start with chapter 1 or section 1, you can say, whereby you will write the introduction. You will introduce your problem, and you will give some background information or issues that in your workplace or any organization you are familiar. You will also identify an opportunity to make an improvement. Huh? So you need to justify why you have chosen this or why you have identified this problem, and kind of what do you call this, an apprehension that after solving this, organization will be benefiting this, etc. So that will clearly state the importance of identifying and your attempt to resolve this problem. So identify if there is something in your area that needs improve investigation or developing or implementing, right? So select a project that demonstrates your skills, your knowledge drawn from the 6 dot modules. So as I mentioned, that your issues or your work-based project should relate to your business. Now, there are 6 dot modules you are offered and you got some knowledges. Huh? So try to be within the scope of the modules you have completed so far. You need to have a clear and benefit for your organization, section, or department. So in the organization, for example, if you are choosing any topic on marketing, so that will be a particular department of an organization. You can do that as well. But let's say you want to do performance improvement or leading change. So that will cover 1 or 2 modules already. So it's up to you how you want to do it, but you need to have a clear understanding of the topic you are choosing for. And you also need to be careful about the accessibility to the information. For example, you have identified to some financial aspects that you are going to do a project based on that. But for the particular organization you have chosen, they are not ready or they are not willing to provide you the information because some information are really PNC, private and confidential, and they would not like to make it public. So you need to be careful all these things. Why I'm saying again and again this, because our experiences saying that a student, without considering all this, they have started. While they are in chapter 3, while they want to collect data, particular organization are refusing. So a student 2 months time is waste. So we are alerting you in advance so that you can plan ahead, right? Some of the ideas for work-based project strategic focus, it can be formulating a marketing or strategic plan for a particular organization. It can be formulating a business strategy or strategies for a particular company, formulating a strategic supply chain management strategy. It can be formulating a strategic human resource management, formulating a new business model, etc. These are some sample or examples based on your topic so far, right? So you can choose something similar. Then recommended timelines is 3 months upon the registration with the center, that activities that you need to do, when you need to do them, and in order you to need to do them. Set a purpose and objectives to be achieved, and identify the sources. Easy example that your books, some of your student management portal, there are many electronic books nowadays available. Thousands and hundreds of thousands of articles are available on the website and journals you may need to read and record for these references. Now, pitfalls to avoid. This is important. Do not choose a larger project that is not manageable within a given time frame. Now, while you're selecting a project, you need to be careful because your time is limited, 3 to 4 months. Your word count also limited, 7,000 to 8,000. So you need to bear in this mind, because if you select a topic which you need to write more, maybe at least 15,000. So you are crossing the limit, and your project, even though it is very good or excellent project, but it is within the 15,000 word, it will not be accepted by the university for your master's level. So you need to be careful. Again, if you choose a larger project, you need longer time as well, right? Not organized. You need to be organized from now. You need to see your project proposal need to be submitted by 30th of November. After that, you are going to have 3 times. So in the first month, what are you doing? Second month, what are you doing? And you cannot wait until 3rd month, because you need to submit your work to your supervisor. Your supervisor will go through, they will give feedback, and you need to work back on the feedback. So there are many things need to be done. Not being critical, presenting in the point of view to issued and discussed, right? So you need to be careful all these things. Proposed contents of the report. As I mentioned, this is also an idea. This is, you need not necessary for you to follow exactly, but if you follow like your introduction or background of your problem issue, you write within 700 words. Then purpose of your project within 300 words. You give a detailed description of the project discussion analysis within 5,000 words. All right. Conclusion and recommendation, perhaps 1,000 words. You will see 5,000, 1,000, 6,000, and then 7,000 already. And then your executive summary also will be counted in the work. There will be another 500. So 7,500, which is fair enough within the word limit. Bear in mind your references or appendix is not count in the word count. So you need to be careful from executive summary until the conclusion or your recommendation part, your word count. Now, in the introduction or background, you should briefly describe the organization in the study, your corporate information, nature of the business, number of the employees, organizational chart. If it is, you add in the, what you call in a appendix. Performance of the organization at the point of undertaking the research, right? So you tell them what is the current situation actually. That will also cover your problem statement, part of the problem statement. Then you also need to write the purpose of the project, why, the aim or objectives, what are the objectives to be achieved in this project, and why this particular project is significant. So you need to explain this, and how. How is, we call it methodology, how the methods and tool proposed to be used in this project, how you're gonna achieve your objectives, how you're gonna find out the problem, and then you will carry out the whole project, right? Description of the project, provide the background of the problems, issues, the study and its consequences. You need to determine the suitable theories, because one of the learning outcomes I stated earlier that the theories or the business models you have studied, you need to demonstrate it in the project. All right. So the problem you identified, and then you find the relevant theories, relevant models, and then you come up with the problems, and then find out the solutions. You need to collect data related to the problems or issues, support to your studies, such as observation or informal interviews, statistics, complaints, etc. So collection of data you can do in 2 ways. We call it quantitative or qualitative. If you design a survey form, that is quantitative, but if you want to go for informal interviews and all, that will be your qualitative. So this one you need to discuss with your supervisor upon selecting or finalizing your proposal. You need to discuss, and then both of you agree and go ahead. Analyze the findings. So for analyzing, there are many tools in the market. Some students are using SPSS, some are using Smart PLS, some are using MOS. So depending on the nature of your research or nature of your study, then you need to do your analyze and findings. Then you will come up with your proposed strategies for the improvement. In the conclusion or recommendation, you will conclude the study with the summary of your findings, and you will propose an action plan. both in short term and the long term, to improve or overcome the problem or the issues you have identified or you have discussed earlier, right? Then reference and bibliography, earlier I show you some examples, you need to follow it here. Now, so I mentioned already the presentation. It can be a real or Times New Roman. That was your confusion. 1.5 margin spacing, this and that. The information is also available in your student portal. You can go through. Now, the assessment. Who will assess your work-based project and how? So this is also for your information. There will be 2 markers. 2 markers means your supervisor will be the first marker. Your supervisor will be the first marker. He will be assessing your work-based project. Secondly, it will come to the program leader, which is myself. So I will be your second markers. In case any differences between the first marker and second marker, it will go to the third marker. But it doesn't easily happen, all right? It normally first marker and second marker settle these things, right? So what are the criteria your lecturer or your marker or your module leader will be looking into this? Understanding and knowledge of the subject, right? So the knowledge at the master's level or the top modules you have covered, is there any implication? What are the implementation in the project? We'll be looking into that. We'll also be looking into the communication and planning of the report. Communication in terms of your writing communication, right? And the presentation of the report. Integration of the theory and application of knowledge skills drawing from the 6 top modules, management tools and practices, right? So any theories you learned, whether you are using or not, if you are coming up with the solution, how you are coming up with the solution, did you follow the proper methodology or not? So we'll be looking into that. We'll be also looking into critical and analytical thinking ability, right? The recommendations or the solving skills, is it at the level of masters or not, right? And of course, the referencing and citation, it will also, if you follow our referencing search properly, you will be getting some additional marks as well. Now, so as I mentioned, there will be 5 sections, and additionally your overall presentation. So 6 sections in total. And section 1, introduction of the setting of the scene context will be 5%. Problem statement and identification will be 10%. Management techniques, tools, analysis, your research methodology, in other words, is 30%. Findings and presentation, it will be 25%. Presentation of solution or recommendation, how you are recommending or solving the problems, there will be 20%. And overall presentation, word count, compliance, referencing, correct format, referencing and word count, etc. Everything will be in 10% mark. So that would be your 100%, how your work will be graded or your project will be graded, right? So is there any questions so far? I think I have come to an end.
No, doctor, it was all clear.
All right. I need your favor. So if you don't have any question, you need to fill up this survey form. This is for your further improvement, our standard practice in the Britain University. It will take about 2 minutes. Then we end our session tonight.
Okay, doctor. Thank you.
You're welcome.